You talk about this guy's background as we look into it. He's got a friend who said, yeah, he had an obsession with video games, shooting video games. In fact, you know, he would come over and he'd be playing so long these video games, these shooting games, we'd have to give him dinner. We'd feed him while he continued to stay on them. A little bit later, Dr. Keith Abloh will talk about is there a relationship between shooting video games and the way you act in real life.
Well, and are more people susceptible? You know, are more people maybe more susceptible than others to playing video games? Is there a link between a certain age group or demo in 20 to 34-year-old men, perhaps, that are playing these video games, and then their violent actions? We have yet to find out.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, you know, it seems like every time something bad like this happens, we look at, is there a connection between video games and the shooter? Well, take a look at some people who were described as addicted to video games from Columbine High School. Eric Harrison, Dylan Klebold, the Virginia Tech shooter, the Arizona shooter, Jared Lee Lofner, that Norway shooter, Anders Bering, I think he shot 77 people, the Aurora shooter, James Holmes, the Sandy Hook shooter, Adam Lanza. They're all described as essentially being addicted to video games. Dr. Keith Abloh, last time he was on the program talking about this, he said that these games, in many cases, need a warning, simply so people know that they can be addictive and psychologically damaging.
Yeah, a lot of people do it, have absolutely no problem, and I believe there is warning on a lot of these games. Isn't there for adult content only?
What about frequency testing? You know, how often has this game been played? Maybe there's some sort of, I mean, and I'm not one to say get in there and monitor everything, but if this indeed is a strong link, right, to mass killings, then why aren't we looking at frequency of purchases per person, and also how often they're playing and how many times? Maybe they time out after a certain hour.
You go to your room.
On this.
Well, it's all interesting stuff. Keep in mind, if there was an age cutoff, you know, as was suggested with Adam Lanza and, you know, kids, this guy's 35 years old, 34 years old, so it wouldn't necessarily apply. Anyway.